None. Zero. Zip. Zilch. Nada. It amazes me that we will actually come to God and ask him to bless us while we directly disobey. God says clearly no to the unbeliever. God, I love you so much and I'm so committed to you. And I'm just praying, as I continue to invest my life in this relationship that you have forbidden and said is sin, would you just bless my sin, God, please? And would you just give me what I want while I continue to pursue what you tell me I should not have? That's what it sounds like. But you know why we continue to justify it? Because we buy into the Greco-Roman myth. And if love is just this overwhelming force and we don't choose who we fall in love with, then God must approve, because he wouldn't have allowed me to fall in love with this person who's a rank unbeliever unless he fully intended to satisfy these urges. Yeah, that's true. If you buy the Greco-Roman myth of romantic love, not if you understand the biblical concept of love. The biblical concept is you lead with the will. And you guard yourself and you protect yourself from getting involved with people who don't qualify. Don't take a chance on getting too invested. Ladies, if you're looking for a man who's qualified to be your husband, the first thing is this: he doesn't jump into relationships all willy-nilly, hopping from one to another, to another, to another, to another, because the heart wants what it wants, and then trying to figure things out later. You know the man you want? The man you want is the man who keeps you at arm's length and will not allow you to jeopardize your feelings by getting involved with him before you make sure that the two of you are equally yoked and that the two of you are ready to enter into a biblical relationship that is heading toward marriage, not just wasting time and kicking it because it feels good to be together. Until you've met that guy, keep walking. Until you've met that guy, don't waste your time. Men, until you are that guy, you don't deserve a Christian woman. You lead with the will. It is a choice. You know why? Because there are going to be difficult days in your marriage. And the will is what gets you through difficult days. Like a dear friend of mine, Dan Yeary. He's a pastor of a church in Phoenix. His wife has multiple sclerosis. I was with them a few months ago. And she is so advanced in this disease now that she's in a wheelchair and she can't walk and she can't get around, and they're both advancing in age. And I spent the day with them. And everywhere they went, he would grab her arms and he'd wrap them around his neck and he'd grab her around the waist. And he'd struggle and he'd pick her up and get her in her chair. Get the chair to the car. He'd do the same thing again. Struggle to get her in the car. Get the chair in the car. Get to where they're going. Same thing again. Over and over and over. He bathes her. He feeds her. He takes her to the bathroom. You don't get that with the Greco-Roman myth of romantic love. Cupid doesn't give you that. That is the will. That is a man who says, I choose to love you with everything that I have for the rest of our life together. I choose to love you. That is what you're looking for. They don't look like they used to when they first got married. So if they built their marriage on that, it would be gone. She can't even get around like she used to. If they built their marriage on that, it would be gone. Do you not think he gets tired? Biblical love leads with the will. It's an act of the will. It's accompanied by emotion. It's accompanied by emotion. That means it's not led by emotion. If it's led by emotion, it's a roller coaster, and you're in trouble. And it's not void of emotion. Ladies, if you are with a guy who, you can't show emotion and won't show just get to stepping. Because that's not the deal. Yeah, but you don't understand. He's just one of these engineering types, and he's not really emotional, and he's not. Help you if you believe that. Because here's what I know. When he's on the golf course and he shanks one, he doesn't just stand there and go, I seem to have hit that one poorly.
There is nothing more frustrating than playing golf. I know this because I was horrible on the golf team.
So yeah, man, I wanted to end with that last clip because, God forbid, that happens to your significant other, but, you really have to be prepared and willing to honor those vows till death do us part, right? And I think that's why we see so many failed marriages outside of the church and within the church, because we don't take this commitment that we've made seriously. And when we hit a rough patch, when things aren't feeling right, we're ready to peace out, right? Yeah. We have one foot outside the door, and it's like, no, like, look, the divorce word doesn't exist in my marriage. It's like, dude, we're stuck with each other. Whatever it is that's happening, we got to figure it out. It may not be today, it may not be tomorrow, but eventually we got to get through whatever we have to get through. And there's a sense of peace that comes with that, because you understand, like, we're in this till the end, no matter what. Yeah. And when you're in conflict, which is gonna come in your marriage, there is always the hope and the understanding that eventually we're going to get through this. You know what I mean? And if, like he's saying, if the love that you have, quote unquote, or what you're focused in is like just based on your feelings, man, like he said, God help you, because it's gonna take more than that.
Yeah. I'd say my final thought for this is going to be, remember that the person that you are looking to marry is human, and they are going to fail. Yep. So I agree with Manny. In my marriage, divorce is not...
They're going to change too.
Huh?
They're going to change
They're going to change too, right? So divorce is not the word that's ever going to be like brought up to be the resolution. Instead, what I always tell my wife is, I am human, so I am going to fail you. But it's through Jesus that we see perfection, right? It's through Jesus, because he will help us to fix, turn around, compromise, do what we need to do, make the change that we need to change to be able to fix and work together. And I think, depending if we want to do a part 2, I think that might be that next part, right? Is like, what does it look like to compromise within that relationship? What does it look like to mean, like, I mean, there's so many different ways we can go with this, but it's like, if I'm going to leave you guys with anything, it's the fact that when you see Christ, that's where you'll see that perfection come in. And when you see Christ, that's when you'll see God really work within, within that marriage.
And I'll tell you, man, when both of you are consecrated and committed to Christ, like, I don't even know how to explain it, but your marriage, dude, is just going to grow leaps and bounds. Like, I love my wife more today than I ever have. And it's nothing that she's doing. It's nothing that I'm doing. It's just like through the growth of my understanding for Christ, my love for her has grown, right? Irregardless of physical appearance, of how, her thoughts have changed, anything like that. It's just like, I can't even explain it, honestly. It's just like this growth of love that has happened over the years that I can't myself even tell you where it's coming from. But that's not to say that that we're not making intentional efforts and decisions each and every day to continue to show affection and love towards each other. And having Christ, it's like the trump card, because when those difficult times come, I kid you not, there's been times where, let's say,
they won't come.
we've had like a disagreement or something. I could be driving in the car and a worship song or a verse comes to mind, and I'm like, oh crap. Like, dang it, God, like, now I gotta go and I gotta go call my wife. Whether I'm wrong or right, I go, I'm calling, I'm like, hey, like, let's talk about this, let's resolve it. And that's God guiding you in your marriage. And dude, like, you want that. Because think about it. If it's just you and your wife, is you versus her. But when you have Christ, you both gotta answer to God.
Yep.
So ultimately, he's setting both of you right. He's giving, like, what is it, cocotazo left and right, setting you both straight. Because at the end of the day, like, you know that God is calling you to be merciful, to show grace, to be to bring peace to your home, to love each other, all that. And I just, to be honest, I still don't know today how people truly do marriage, quote unquote marriage, because there's no marriage outside of God, without Jesus. It's crazy.